than a month before New Jersey students go back to school, Governor Phil Murphy has approved high school sports to resume this fall. Meanwhile, many school districts across the state, they are at odds when it comes to in-classroom learning and remote learning. Joining me right now with an update on what exactly is happening for the Garden State is Governor Phil Murphy. Good morning to you, Governor. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Thanks for having me.
So we're going to get into those local issues in just a second. I want to talk about what's happening with the election, right? Because you've expressed great concerns over the Postal Service and mail-in voting with the upcoming presidential election. What measures are you and other state leaders now taking to support funding the Postal Service to ensure that everybody's ballot will get there in time?
Yeah, I mean, the politicization of the Postal Service is ridiculous, Dan. We got to get away from this. This is an American institution. You'd think if you listen to the craziness that all the Postal Service does is deal with elections. Let's remember it deals with medicines for seniors. It deals with our veterans, our rural communities, our small businesses that make up the bulk of our economy rely upon it. So enough already. Let's fund the post office. So the most important thing we can do right now is to support Speaker Pelosi's efforts to get $25 billion into the Postal Service. Let's accept that vote by mail is a very reasonable alternative, as we have put forward for our November election. We just did it successfully for a primary. We give folks the choice to vote by mail or to show up in person. It worked, it will work, it can work, but we need to enough already on this politicization of the Postal Service. Let's fund it. Let's support the men and women who work there, and let's get on with our democracy and getting to a successful November election.
6.2 million voters in New Jersey. The Washington Post is reporting that the Postal Service sent a letter to New Jersey saying it cannot guarantee all ballots will be delivered in time. Can you confirm that that letter arrived, and what more needs to be done and to ensure that it will arrive in time?
I've not seen the letter, but I'm speaking with the Chief Operating Officer of the Postal Service tomorrow, Dave Williams, who we've been in constant touch with. And we're going to, as we did for the primary, which by the way was quite successful, we're going to be very forceful and very clear about our expectations. There was a time, Dan, and you and I spoke with Betty a few months ago, in March and in April, where the delays were understandable because you had a lot of folks at the Postal Service who were sick or who were fearful of their own health. That's behind us, thank God. I knock on wood. This is a different reality, and it's all politics. Let's get this out of the system. Let's fund it, and let's rely on it as a nation, as we always have.
And come November, will there be less in-person voting options for folks in New Jersey, or will there be the same number of polling places?
There'll be more than the primary in July, but not as much as the old days. So each county will have to commit to 50% at a minimum of voting capacity. Each community will have to commit to at least one location. And by the way, if you vote by mail, we're giving a number of different alternatives for you. Mail your ballot back, drop it in we'll have several hundred secure drop boxes, or show up on election day and hand it to a poll worker. So we're giving folks a lot of flexibility. The key here is to preserve that sacred reality of democracy, voting, and at the same time protect public health.
Understood. I want to get your take now on the Democratic National Convention. It's certainly underway. Last night was night one, and the first time ever in history we're seeing this play out virtually. Your counterpart, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, among the speakers last night. What was your take of night one?
I thought it was a great night. I'm honored to be one of the co-chairs of the convention. I thought we got off to a great start. Governor Cuomo, First Lady Michelle Obama, Bernie Sanders, some Republicans who are moderate and supporting Joe Biden, and most importantly, working families, folks who have been impacted by the pandemic, voices from around the country. I thought, given the new normal that we're in, it was an extraordinary start to the week.
Okay, I want to get into the local issues now because yesterday you gave the go-ahead for high school sports to resume in the fall. I want to get your thoughts on what led to that decision, knowing that when you look at, say, Rutgers University, right, 30 football players tested positive for COVID-19. So are there concerns that could happen on a high school level?
Sure, there are always concerns. And just to put a fine point on it, I don't necessarily get to make that decision. There's a board of the New Jersey Interscholastic Athletic Association, but I'm a big believer that we should have outdoor athletics this fall. If you look at where we've had issues, it's really two realities jump out at you. Number one, including at Rutgers, the infections have not been athletic related. To the best of our knowledge, these have been away from athletic endeavors. And we've seen in New Jersey a lot of house parties, for instance. Secondly, travel is a big difference between intercollegiate and high school athletics. If you keep within the four walls of New Jersey, better yet, if you keep within your region of New Jersey, and we look at this virus not just as a state matter, but regionally, we think we could successfully prosecute an emphasis on outdoor fall sports season. It's good at many levels, including mental health, teamwork, spirit, in addition to the physical health and well-being that it brings.
And the million-dollar question is about schools. So many parents want to know about this. Can you do me a favor, and can we sneak in a quick break so I can really get into the nitty-gritty of the details here? You okay with that?
Absolutely, Dan.
All right, we'll be right back with Governor
bet.
Murphy. 8:24, and we are back with Governor Phil Murphy here with everything parents need to know about the back-to-school plan. So, Governor, thanks for sticking around here because this is such a big topic for families and such a big decision to make. You know this. You have children of your own. So it's in the hands of each individual school system. And statewide, we're hearing from people for and against in-class learning, in which you expressed that there is really no one-size-fits-all plan. So here's my question. If any infection rates at schools start to tick up, what is the plan?
Yep. So, Dan, let me step back if I can and say we're guided by several principles here. Most importantly, health and safety for everybody involved. Secondly, high quality education. New Jersey is tops in the nation. We want to stay that way. And thirdly, equity. And that reminds us that not every family's circumstances are the same. Not only are no two districts alike, no two families are alike. And then wrapped around that is flexibility. So several weeks ago, we found the money to close the digital divide. That's a big step. We gave parents the flexibility to allow their child to remote learn. We added that we need everybody to mask up, including the kids. And then most recently, we said to districts, we'd give them the flexibility if they felt they were not ready to go on day one, particularly as it related to health and safety, that they could submit a plan to be remote for a period of time while they remediated their challenges. It could be masks, plexiglass, ventilation systems, and then give us a date. We'll work with them, give us a date when we think they can open. So that's the sort of sort of context. We've then taken the state, we've split it into regions. We look not just on what infections look like potentially in a school, but in that region. Right now, our numbers, I'm knocking on wood again, look awfully good. We're not out of the woods yet, but we're a lot better than we were. So our overall strong passion is to get to in-person instruction.
Right.
Whether it's on Tuesday after Labor Day or it's at a delayed point, given the nature of that district, either way, we're going to get to in-person instruction, but we got to do it safely.
And at some point, can the state step in overall? Because right now it's up to individual schools. But if you don't like where the numbers are going, can the state step in and say, okay,
yes,
everybody's going remote?
You betcha. So look at in March. So just as we're asking each district to give us their plan to open, we did the same thing in March. We asked the districts to give us their closing plan. We were really focused on hot meals for students who don't have any other hot meals during the day, and also the digital divide, as I mentioned. And so many schools submitted their plans, we accepted them, but ultimately we slammed the garage door down as a state.
Understood.
We could do the same thing again. Please God, Dan, we don't have to.
And so what happens then with indoor dining and gyms and whatnot? Because it seems like if people are going to go back into a classroom, why not open indoor dining and gyms and things like that?
We're trying to get there. I mean, the thing that folks have to remember, and this relates to schools, it certainly relates to dining where you're sedentary, a gym. The virus indoors is a lot more lethal than it is out of doors. So accepting that reality, as we've opened the state, we've had a heavy emphasis on outdoor activity. We will get to indoor dining, we'll get to gyms, we'll get to theaters. I hope sooner than later.
Understood.
We are trying, as they say, we're trying to get to yes, but we want to do it safely and responsibly.
Governor Phil Murphy, always appreciate you making the time for us. I got to say, your state has a great distinction. I don't know, did you hear about this honor that New Jersey received? That RUTT'S hut in Clifton, New Jersey was named the best hot dog in America?
I did. I mean, come on. I'm not surprised, but hey, look at that. God,
Have you tried one? They fry them.
So good. I love that.
I think, and you have a birthday you're celebrating.
Off.
It's your son's birthday today, correct?
Yeah, my son's today, our daughter yesterday, and I was the day before, so we got
Wow.
3 in a row here.
3 in a row. Happy. I think you guys should go treat yourself to the best hot dog in America over at RUTT'S Hut.
I'm heading to RUTT'S Hut right now.
Governor Phil Murphy, always appreciate you making the time this morning.
Take care, guys.
And happy birthday to all the Murphy family.